Hello, everyone. My name is Avi Bhaktani, and I'm joined here today with my colleague, Jeffrey Wong, and we welcome you to the Back Office Spotlight session. Today, we'll use real-world customer examples with hands-on demonstrations and introduce you to our intelligent automation solutions that can revolutionize and digitally transform your back office. Let's start with an introduction. The modern back office today comprises of important business functions such as finance, HR, shared services, IT, and operations that provide critical support and services to the rest of the organization. Here's just a few examples of these kind of services. In finance and accounting, business processes such as procure to pay, order to cash, and record to report are key to financial management and guaranteeing business resiliency. In human resources, use cases such as employee onboarding ensure that employees have a satisfying experience when they join the company on day one. Shared services organizations consolidate business processes and business operations for multiple parts of the same company. Similarly, other functions like operations and IT are performing critical activities such as demand forecasting, planning, and ensuring business continuity. Because of their very vital role, it's fair to say that the back office functions are the backbone of the modern digital enterprise. To fully support and service the rest of the organization, business functions in the back office should do the following things. First, they must guarantee resiliency and continuity of their business. During the COVID crisis, this became a very important goal for businesses to deliver. Then they must also eliminate inaccuracies and inefficiencies that can have a direct impact on a company's bottom line. A recent study from IDC shows that inefficiencies could end up costing organizations 20 to 30% of their revenue. Back office functions must also ensure that business professionals are spending more of their time doing value-added jobs and less time on repetitive, mundane tasks, thereby ensuring that the employees are more productive and they are more satisfied. However, back office functions today are challenged with manual, labor-intensive tasks that are costly and slow and can lead to inconsistent results and some very high error rate that is costly for the business. Intelligent automation solutions can remove the roadblocks that prevent back office functions from achieving their goals of efficiency, speed, and resiliency. Let's see how. To really build a modern digital back office and accelerate automation, here are the three main objectives that must be met. First, automation should be able to break through the departmental silos that exist because of the thousands of different legacy systems and applications between different parts of the organization. Second, they must process large volumes of data that exist and are very common to business processes in the back office. Third, and another critical aspect, is that automation initiatives have to scale and transform after they start. Now we'll deep dive into some of these in our session. Let's start with the first one, the first objective. How do we break through organizational silos? For many of us who have been in this business, you would have observed that in the last 2 decades, companies have invested in large-scale implementations of applications such as ERP and different systems of records, both that are custom and legacy, with the goal to streamline and operationalize their business. However, these systems and applications were never built to interface with one another, which has resulted in departmental silos across different organizations in the back office. Connecting these applications seamlessly will drive higher efficiencies and improve employee productivity. Back office solutions that are built on robotic process automation, RPA, and AI can seamlessly connect these systems and applications, and we will show you how easy it is to do so. Let's look at a real-world example. Let's look at a very critical process in HR that onboards employees before they start working in any organization, basically everything that happens before day one. As many of us would know, an efficient onboarding program can create the right experience for people coming into a company. Statistics show that 54% higher employee engagement is achieved for companies that have an efficient onboarding program. If you look at a typical new hire employee onboarding process, as you can see from the flow and the diagram I have on the screen, it involves multiple handshakes between back office departments that include HR, IT, facilities, finance, and maybe a few others. This can become a very time-consuming process. HR professionals, they need to access and update multiple applications and systems of record with employee data. They need to create new accounts. They need to assign new employees workstations. They need to perform other tasks to ensure that employees can be onboarded seamlessly on day one. This is quite a manual and time-consuming process, and anybody who's been in the workforce knows it's never that seamless. Now let's look at a different way to do this. How about we automate this process? And we're going to show you that. We're going to demonstrate to you how the Automation Anywhere employee onboarding digital worker can automate your entire HR process end to end, so that HR professionals in your organization do not have to spend valuable cycles on this process manually. And your employees or the new employees coming into the organization can be onboarded faster and more efficiently. With that, I'm going to now turn it over to my colleague, Jeffrey, so he can show us a real working demo of this solution. Jeffrey, over to you.
Avi, thanks for the great setup. When we look at the HR onboarding process, there are multiple systems, tasks, and applications that people need to be working with. For example, JobVite is used for recruiting. Workday is a source of truth for employee records. Okta, as you see here, is a system that maintains the single sign-on and is the application access portal. Each application you see requires an application creation and license. It's critical that the various teams do their steps correctly and in the right order while constantly dealing with interruptions. Since employee onboarding is critical to first impressions, it needs to be done perfectly. Bots are ideal as they can perform the actions correctly each and every single time. Here you see the bot has multiple sections. These sections perform different functions, accessing applications like JobVite, Workday, ServiceNow, Okta, and even Excel. The JobVite section here gets a new hire document and inputs them into other applications. Let's actually run the bot and see it in action. Here we see the bot logging into JobVite, and it will find the employee. The goal here is to actually obtain the new employee documents. This includes the resume, the offer letter, and any other forms that are pre-submitted to help streamline the onboarding flow. In this case, the I-9, direct deposit form, and the W-4. Next, the bot is actually going to use our AI-based document classification system to automatically sort out the different document attachment types. Once sorted, here, the bot is actually going to send these documents automatically to IQBot, our AI ML intelligent document processing system that will actually extract the data. That data will be then used in the various applications to set up the new hire. In Workday, the bot creates a new employee record. Once that profile is created, the information is actually transferred over. This includes things like the name, email address, start date, position, location, and various other data going into Workday. Remember those attachments that we got from JobVite earlier? They are actually going to be automatically entered into Workday, as you see here. So let's have the bot finish adding in all the attachments, and then we'll continue onward. The next step after the attachments is actually going to be having the bot order a computer in ServiceNow for the new hire. And moving along there, it's going to go in and actually order it. And once it's done, you see how easy it actually did that. It actually broke down the silos between IT and HR. Now here, the bot is actually in Okta provisioning the new hire account. Once done, it's actually going to assign them the Microsoft Productivity Suite. And in this case, that's Office 365. And you'll see that happen momentarily. The last thing that this bot is going to do, it's going to update the global new hire tracker that's being used to validate first day documents. And we see that the new hire information gets added to that Excel sheet right there. And with that, this bot is done. And we have an example of how employee onboarding can be streamlined for various groups across the company involved in this workflow. This bot could easily be added with additional processes from other parts of IT, payroll, facilities, safety, training, you name it. And with that, Avi, what do you think of it?
Hey, Jeffrey, that was an impressive demo. Hey, Jeffrey, tell us a little more about this digital worker. What would you say a process like this would take for an organization to do manually versus automatically?
Well, Avi, a process like HR onboarding is actually very well suited for automation. It's rules-based and actually very well defined. And because of that, there are very little variations that need to be done. And thus it's actually very, very straightforward. And what this means is the automation itself can actually be done in a matter of days versus weeks or months.
Oh, that's always good to hear. And thank you again for that demo. Let me do a quick recap. Here's what you saw in this demo. You saw how easy it is to seamlessly connect different systems and applications. This is what Jeffrey showed you in the demo. How easy it is to make employees more productive by allowing them to focus on value-added work and let the bots perform the manual repetitive tasks. And what you also saw was that you can actually automate a process end-to-end from start to finish because your automation includes robotic process automation and AI. Let's move on. Our next challenge is that back office functions have large volumes of data to process. Data can be in a structured form like a database or an Excel, or it can be in the form of unstructured content like your invoices, your insurance forms, or onboarding forms, as in the case of an HR. Manually processing this data is time-consuming and error-prone, and it can result in significant delays that can impact your business. Let's look at the employee onboarding process again. As you will expect, an onboarding process involves many different types of documents that have to be read and processed. Here are some examples of the documents that are part of the employee onboarding process. A signed offer letter is received to confirm acceptance. And then this kicks off a number of other documents that need to be submitted and verified, like your new hire information, your ID, your W-4s, I-9s, and many other that are important for your employment status. There could even be documents like school records that are required for your background checks. But if you notice, all of this data is highly unstructured, which means humans have to manually read and process this data before entering it into different systems or records. And that can be cumbersome and error-prone. Now we'll show you a more efficient way of doing this by using AI technologies. IQBot, our intelligent automation solution, makes AI very easy to train and use for the business user, allowing them to take advantage of AI without being system and technology experts. Jeffrey, I'm going to pass this back on to you. Why don't you show our users how using intelligent automation with IQBot can seamlessly help you grab data out of many of these documents? Jeffrey, over to you.
Avi, let me show you some cool things around AI. One of the AI adoption challenges has always been around needing a data scientist to build and train models. AI has typically been very technical and hard to use. IQBot allows the ability to use AI around document processing without needing to worry about all of the inner workings. Let me show you how IQBot works. Here you see the offer letter. It is an example of what we call an unstructured document. The offer letter is the document of record, for the new hire. So we want to be able to extract out important information like the title, the salary, the RSUs, the vest rate, and also the expiration date. And let me actually show you how easy it is to set up IQBot to extract data. We'll start by training the AI model using IQBot's business-friendly user interface. The training is simple as telling IQBot what fields to extract and providing a field sample document. The fields of interest to me here are going to be title, salary, stock vest rate, and the offer expiration. Okay. Note, there's no need to build an AI model from scratch or provide thousands of data sample points. IQBot uses a variety of ML and AI technologies such as computer vision and NLP to automatically find and extract the right values from the documents. So once that comes up, you'll see that IQBot is processing the document, and we see the initial results are displayed in an easy to understand interface. We need to verify that each field and associated value has been properly found. The employee title and salary were found and extracted correctly. So far, so good. We go and check out the stock grant, and we see that wasn't found. So let me actually teach IQBot where that information is by clicking on the correct value in the document. This is human-in-the-loop training. It allows the system to learn from the human interactions and improve the AI model. This allows IQBot to correctly extract for the next set of documents being processed. Now we have that correct. Let's actually go and check out our initial results. We go to the first document, everything looks good. We'll check out the next training document. We'll see, yeah, everything looks good here too. So let's check out that third document we gave it. And perfect. So what we're going to do here is actually go back, save everything, and then move it forward. Now we have an AI bot that can automatically process the next batch of offer letters correctly and accurately. You've just seen how easy it is to extract data from documents. IQBot has been designed to be used by business groups without the need of involving the IT development resources. It's simple and honestly, easy to use. So Avi, what do you think of that?
Hey, Jeffrey, that was great. The simplicity of the UI, how easy it is to train AI models that people always thought was so complex, was quite fascinating to see. So thank you for the demo. Let me ask you, what about our AI technology specifically excites you the most?
Well, Avi, as mentioned, using AI is typically hard and requires a great deal of technical skills. Okay, and the thing is, each different AI system has their own way of training models and data set size requirements. And what we've done with IQBot is it allows the customer to accomplish useful work using AI. It simplifies the technology, provides a way to quickly accomplish work and see the value in a very short amount of time.
That's great. That's great. Let me recap very quickly what you guys just saw, right? So what you saw is that businesses can now process data more accurately and efficiently than ever before. You can also use AI in a business-friendly manner. You saw how easy it was, right? You don't have to be a technical expert. And also, you saw an example of an employee offer letter, but organizations can process a variety of documents using our technology. There's one important point I also want to make before we move on to the next section. The bot that you just saw, Automation-Anywhere Employee Onboarding Digital Worker, that's a bot that actually used in-house. This is something we pride ourselves of. We actually use this bot as part of our onboarding process ourselves. So we can tell you that the process is efficient, it saves time, and it's quite easy to use and deploy. You saw IQBot in action. Now let me introduce you to our new IQBot capability. With its auto extraction capabilities, IQBot further simplifies data extraction using pre-trained AI models. These models are trained from many of the business use cases that are very common out there. So you can start extracting valuable information from your documents out of the box and on day one. So definitely check it out. All right. As I mentioned earlier in my session, the third and a very critical aspect is that automation initiatives have to scale and transform after they start. Scale is vital in ensuring that the back office functions can deliver on their promise and goals of cost, efficiency, and business resiliency. So we thought, why not show this to you, this ability to achieve transformation at scale, with a real world customer example. So as part of our next section, we'll talk to our guest speaker, Joe, who is the Director of HR Business Process Enablement at Dell Technologies. Hi, Joe. Thank you again for being a part of this session. It's very exciting to have an expert like yourself be a part of this discussion. Can you start by telling us a little about yourself and your role at Dell?
Sure. So my name is Joe Cotnor. I manage the business process enablement team in our HR services organization under the business architect and technology group. So my role specifically, we have oversight of the RPA program within HR and facilities, where we manage the development, deployment, and implementation of all of our automation solutions in there. We also have oversight of our reporting function. So we provide reports for Dell team members of all of our HR core systems. And I also serve as the business technology consultant for our compliance and audit function, as well as our talent acquisitions organization.
Excellent. So you're the perfect person for this discussion. So Joe, when we start automating a key business function such as HR, a function like this is very important in ensuring very high employee satisfaction, right? Can you start by telling us what kind of processes in HR are you currently automating?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so the biggest thing that we like to look at in HR is taking a look at these transactional opportunities that our team members are having to do in and out of our core systems. I mean, we make a heavy investment in our core systems, Workday, ServiceNow, Fieldglass, but by doing so, we need to also, transact inside of those systems. If you think of the HR function, a lot of people think it's the hands-on human interaction at front and center, but there's a whole bunch of things that happen behind the scenes. So for us in the RPA program, we really try to look at how we can automate all of these back-end transactional roles today so that our team members who are doing these transactional roles can really begin to add more value in their role, begin to do more and more human in the human resources, if you will. And then also, we can expand our services, extend our services, and add a really just more high touch opportunity on these. So in the same time, we can have this same group of HR professionals, but instead of focusing on all of this transactional type work in all of our core systems, instead we're able to really repurpose and refocus that value to translate that to our team members.
No, that's very important, right? And Joe, like you mentioned the word human touch, right? And that's very important when we look at cross automation.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the goals we're trying to enable our audiences is to understand that when you're automating across organizations, it's not just the HR piece, right? You have to automate across HR, IT, facilities. Can you throw a little more color on that, right? I mean, how do we break these what we call as departmental silos that exist between these organizations?
Sure. I mean, so obviously, my main focus in the HR space doesn't necessarily mean that I'm only interacting and transacting with our HR professionals. I mean, at Dell, we have a centralized RPA COE, fantastic group. They manage all of our infrastructure. They manage all of our licensing. They manage our best practices. So really, it's a good opportunity to really spread all of the information and education that we learn in the individual functions where we do have automation and share those best practices across all the individual other functions. So really, the RPA effort at Dell is certainly not limited to HR by any means. We're obviously a piece, probably a small piece of the overall automation, but it really is just kind of one other brick in that overall RPA journey that we have.
No, that's very important, because we talk about scale, right? And working across and creating the COE is extremely important, and in working collaboratively across the COEs is important to scale, right?
Absolutely.
And you guys obviously you've been successful. Your automation initiatives have taken wings. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the journey? You started with a few bots, now you have a few more deployed. So just give our audience a little more color on your automation journey, if you may.
Yeah, absolutely. I think journey is the perfect word, to be honest with you. We started in HR with a single process, obviously, as most people do. But what that gave us is the opportunity to really showcase what automation can do. So for us, a big part of that journey was actually creating what we call automation ambassadors. So we have different, obviously the RPA group in HR where we support, we couldn't possibly come up with all of the solutions, all of the opportunities that make sense for our HR automation team to do. So these automation ambassadors are folks within the HR business in talent acquisition, in talent and culture, learning and development, in our HR operations and services organization. So once we were able to kind of showcase the benefits of RPA, this generated a lot of excitement for these folks, and then they could go back into their functions within HR, come up with more opportunities, and then that gave us a chance to prioritize them, take a look at what these opportunities mean from a change the business model perspective, what our ROI might be, how long the development might take. And that really helped us mature that model simply by kind of having this extension of the RPA team out in the business. We have folks all the way from our senior leadership, saying, hey, we should automate this, down to, our SMEs and process owners that are saying, I don't want to do this transactional work anymore. I can do so much more, but I need this off my plate. So it's really a great story to tell that it went from such a small operation to really being at the forefront in HR and HR strategy for us.
Yeah, no, that aligns so well with us, right? I mean, the vision that we have is, like you said, this ability to scale comes from this ability for folks to collaborate and almost having a bot for every employee. So that's definitely great to hear. Joe, your automation results obviously have been very impressive, right? What kind of metrics or key metrics should organizations look for, when they embark on their digital transformation journey? And again, we use the word journey, because, like I said, it's the right way to kind of characterize success when you look at automation, right? So you want to tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think for us, and probably for a lot of folks, the initial journey starts off with, you have some sort of constraint around your business, whether it's a headcount constraint, a cost constraint, something, right? That you turn to a way to do things more efficiently. And that is absolutely, a way to get into RPA, but also at the same time, I think it's important for folks not to take, these other opportunities off the table, which is truly to change the way you actually operate your business, and it's not just focus on the financial impacts on it. For us, we look at, we definitely look at the hours saved that we do with automation, but we also look at either efficiency or effectiveness. Sometimes we have an efficiency play where we make a process more efficient, or sometimes we have an effectiveness play. This to us is really important because it's not just looking at cost reduction. It's not just looking at, what is that ROI from a development to cost savings perspective. It's really taking a look at changing the way that we operate and putting automation at the forefront so that we can free up these resources for these value-added processes.
That's excellent. Any glimpse into the future? What's next? What are you thinking? Anything that you would like to share with the audience before we close?
No, I mean, so glimpse of the future, we plan to keep on automating wherever we can. It's exciting for us, now that we have so many bots across the HR function. You typically start to see in HR these human-to-human transfers within a process. But for us now, it's exciting when we start to see the ability to string our bot processes together, right? So, taking from the talent acquisitions function and automating a section there, where now we're actually tying it to the onboarding section. So now it's the pre-hire, now the onboarding piece. And so for us, I'm really looking forward to seeing how much more we can do that, where we can automate as much of the transactional piece of that hire to retire part within HR.
No, that's excellent. No, this was great. I personally definitely enjoyed this conversation, and it gave us some real insights into a real world organization truly automating a business function and reaping benefits out of it, right?
Yep.
So for that, I want to thank you, Joe, again for being part of this session. Go ahead, Joe, finish up.
No, I was just saying absolutely.
All right. Joe, that was great. Thank you. That is a really good example of how you can take an HR business process or any back office function process and transform it at scale. To add to that, here's what we believe: that to transform rapidly and most impactfully, organizations need to drive a culture of digital thinking, and it has to be across their employees. A federated center of excellence model is what we call it, and is what we feel our customers have the most success with, especially when you're scaling automation programs in a very short period of time. Let me take a couple of minutes to explain how that works. So organizations start with the few identified processes in the central center of excellence, or global COE. They digitize this completely to see a fast return on investment. But what they do is they also enable business functions to have their own center of excellence in a federated model. These business units, in turn, enable employees with the tools required to prioritize, automate, and digitize processes that are making them into citizen developers. And we believe that the best way for automation to scale across an organization is to realize the vision of a bot for every employee. Before we end, I wanted to give you an example of some of the biggest names across the industries that have transformed their business with intelligent automation solution from Automation Anywhere. Customers such as Dell Technologies, from who you heard from, and many others are automating at a record pace, and they've seen significant value in automating their back office functions with us. We've shown you how automation enables you to truly revolutionize your back office and take advantage of the benefits of the intelligent automation. Here are some of the key takeaways. We showed you how you can streamline your processes by breaking departmental silos, how you can automate document processing with business-friendly artificial intelligence technologies that is inbuilt into our platform. And by using customer examples and by using our vision of a bot for every employee, you can actually accelerate digital transformation at scale. You can learn more about our back office solutions by visiting our back office solutions page and starting your free trial today. With that, we thank you for being with us, and we look forward to engaging with you in the near future.